Well, 50 years ago tomorrow, John F. Kennedy visited Las Vegas and he spoke at the old Las Vegas Convention Center.
And then less than 2 months later, he was assassinated in Dallas, Texas. Brian Brennan looked into the message the president was trying to get out that day and how it still resonates for us.
Yeah, Nevada was his last stop in a trip around the country. In the midst of the Cold War, he spoke about the United States having a shield of strength, but he said the military was useless unless the society itself was prosperous. 5 decades later, we look back at the speech with the help of someone who was there.
Cool fall air, along with excitement and enthusiasm, filled the old convention center.
It was packed, absolutely packed.
Sarah Denton brought her 3 young children to see the president. Her husband had run the Kennedy campaign in Nevada. Less than 3 years later, JFK visited the state.
I think he was emphasizing what his plan was for the rest of his term, and of course getting ready to run again.
Kennedy had plans for the Silver State. He wanted the Lake Mead Hoover Dam area to be given permanent national park status and water from the lake to be used for the growth of Las Vegas. He said Lake Tahoe needed to be preserved and Nevada's rangelands explored for resources.
I think he and Eleanor Roosevelt were the forerunners on environment and cleaning up and making sure that we kept our waterways clean and our air clean.
The speech centered around 2 points still critical today: education and environment. Kennedy remarked, "We ought to keep our children in school and we ought to make them work, and we ought to have the best teachers." He continued that it was important to use what nature has given us and wherever we can to improve it. The president said in the years after World War II, this generation of Americans had done much, but the focus now needed to be on providing a home for future generations. 2 months after his Las Vegas visit, President Kennedy was assassinated.
And it was like a member of the family was gone. Everybody was in mourning. It was a sad time for our country.
But the words he spoke here were as true for one mother then.
I just have a new great-grandson, and he's 4 months old, and I look at him and I hope the world is a good place when he grows up.
As they are true for a great-grandmother now.
Sarah Denton became involved in politics just a few years later. She ran Senator Howard Cannon's office for 15 years and continued volunteering for Congresswoman Dina Titus, Shelley Berkeley, and Senator Harry Reid. A link to Kennedy's speech is on 8newsnow.com, keyword JFK.